What's going on, guys? Venatix here. Welcome back to the channel. We have the ultimate beginner's guide tips and tricks for you here for Space Marine 2. I've had the game for like 4 or 5 days now, got early access to it. Thanks to Focus Entertainment and GamesPlanet.com. If you want to get Space Marine 2 on sale, use my link down below. Anyways, let's talk some of the first things you should do when you play Space Marine 2, and that is the settings. A few settings that you should turn off right away, in my honest opinion, is coming into the camera and turning off camera shake. On top of that, you want to do motion blur, so go into your video, come down to motion blur intensity and turn that off. This is going to help with overall clarity while you're in combat in game. One more last thing here is if you go to the interface, go down to HUD, make sure you set the HUD preset to full. This way you get to see everything. Reminder tips, you get to see the top right quest icon, the icon in the middle, the directive markers, your health bar, status effect panel, your status effect bar, terminus enemies health, weapons, inventory, team status, location name, game log, sites, your ammo counter, your jump limit indicator, and Vox transmission. Basically everything you're going to want to know up front on your HUD is right here, and turning it to full is a must. Now, starting out in Space Marine 2, you're going to want to learn the progression system when it comes to leveling your gun, your class, and your perks. You have to start out by choosing a class. Keep in mind that the campaign is entirely separate to this classes here, which is for the operation mode only. So you have the tactical, assault, vanguard, bulwark, sniper, and heavy. And one of the first things you should definitely do when starting out in Space Marine 2 is coming into here and trying the trials for each of the individual classes. They're little mini-series here where if you complete them in a certain amount of time with certain objectives, you get rewards, like this Data Armory Mastercraft or 25 Requisition, which is the in-game currency to help you unlock weapons. Complete these trials for all the classes to get a feel for them, as well as get a jump start in the resource grind. Now let's talk actual weapon progression. Looking at one of the pistols here, you can see starting out, we have 0 experience out of 25,700. If I want, I could actually level this up immediately. I can master it, which then is going to give me 1 mastery point. You can see right here I have 0, but this will give me 1, which then allows me to come into my perk tree and put 1 mastery point into the perk tree, which looks like I can get either a decrease in spread or increased damage against terminus enemies. Let me show you what it looks like on a class that I have a little more things unlocked. So you can see here I have the heavy bolt pistol has been mastered here, also mastered here, and mastered here, and you can see my experience is 7,500 out of 25,700, which means I'm in the master crafted tier because I've met that threshold. And since I have these 3 masteries, I have a total of 3 mastery points. So if I go into the perk tree, you can see I have this one selected, this one selected, and this one selected. And it's important to get as many mastery points as you can so you can start unlocking some of these perks to make your weapon stronger, which will help in harder difficulties. So a basic overall tip would to find a gun that a lot of the classes all use, which seems to be the bolt pistol. So if you're using that a lot, make sure to kind of use that first because it'll be leveled up across all of your characters. As you can see, the tactical class uses the bolt pistol. Also this class, the assault class, uses it. Vanguard also uses it. Bulwark also has the option to use it as well. As you can see, if you start leveling that early and you say you've maxed out that class, you can move on to the next class. While we're in the screen, let's talk about the armory data. As you can see in the top right corner here, I have 11 of the green one, which is the master crafted. I have 0 of the purple, which is artificer, and then 0 of the relic, which is kind of like the yellowish gold one. To be able to get these unlocked, you have to find them and collect them in the operation missions. You can find upwards of 1 with a chance of getting 2 if it spawns a mini boss during your mission. Only 1 person on your team has to pick it up, and as long as you guys finish the mission, you will be rewarded that armory data piece. Now, something that's kind of gone unnoticed is that the weapons are slightly different when it comes to defense. They have different things. They have fencing, which is increased perfect parry window, a block with a no perfect parry window, and balance with a moderate perfect parry window. This is actually super important. As you level them up, you will have options for them to change. As you can see here, this one will allow for the chainsword to have fencing, or this one will allow for the chainsword to have a block. Now this is what matters when you have to parry these. When it has the blue circle on the enemies that appear, allows you to parry, which, trust me, you're going to do a lot of parrying in this game because that's how you're going to gain some of your armor back. But if you didn't know, while you're performing an execution or melee or gun finisher, you do have iframes, which is invincibility frames, which means you're not going to take any damage from any source during that execution. Once the execution is finished, you will gain 1 armor back if you are missing any. Also, if you perfect time a dodge, so if you don't parry but you dodge it perfectly, like last second perfect dodge, you will typically get a red crosshair gun finisher on the enemy that you just dodged, which does major damage. Now, another tip is the Majoris enemies. It's kind of like the middle ground enemies. It's not the extreme enemies and it's not the light enemies, but they have the opportunity to call in reinforcements, and they'll make a very distinct sound and then show like a red diamond with a skull in the middle above their head, showing a progress bar of when they're going to alert more enemies. So you have to kill them fast before they summon another horde to attack you. This is an easy way for you to get overwhelmed and swarmed rather quickly, so make sure to prioritize those enemies immediately. As for playing in the campaign in operation missions, the bot AI allies almost never do executions. A lot of the times enemies are just going to sit there in red waiting to be executed. Typically when an enemy is in execution form, when they're glowing red, you can walk up to them and press the action button to execute them, or typically 1 to 2 headshots will also just execute them. Now, a super important tip while playing in the operation missions is to look for the gene seed, and they hide this everywhere. I mean, they had it like behind like a small chair and you wouldn't know until you literally walked right up to it. But the gene seed is an item that gives you extra XP at the end of the mission, and it's pretty substantial. Like for the level 1 difficulty missions, you get like 670 experience. This gene seed gives you 185 on top of that, so almost a third amount of what the overall mission would have given you. So these gene seeds are important to find, and there's one of them per mission, and they're just kind of scattered somewhere randomly. You have to find them, but they do take up your guardian relic slot, which is a self-revive that you can find on the operation as well. Something super handy to have. Also, if you didn't know, there are currently Twitch drops happening right now on Twitch for weapon skins and in-game currency. So if you want to start looking bad A right away and or get a jump on that currency grind, make sure to jump over on Twitch and look at some of those who have their drops enabled. If you're looking to see some more videos and guides, check out my channel. Hopefully I'm live streaming this game tonight or whatever night it may be. And if you guys got any more tips and tricks or guides to point out, make sure to let us know in the comment section below. Help your fellow battle brothers out. And we'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Enemies have split from the main force. Prepare to intercept. Commencing reload. The vermin are clawing at the walls. The bulk of the swarm is continuing along the protected path. Continue holding. Purge the alien scourge. Finishing fire. Vermin have crawled to the refinery. Threats in there. B is an angel. Halfway there, brothers. Keep it up. No matter how many vermin they say. Avenging angel. Enemies are taking a scathing for me. The enemy are upon us. Die! The swarm has almost fully committed. Are you ready for my mark? Turning canker sighted. That pitiful Xenos was jump pack refueled. Take flight and let terror fall. detonate. Cook those rotten bastards.
Spark the flames of vengeance!
What a sight. What a smell. Tenant bioscience down 90% and falling. Swarm annihilation confirmed. Excellent work. Move to extract. Thunderhawk arriving at evac point. Ramp down and ready.
Go!
Extraction